probably one of the key things I think about sort of content, and I do think it's really, really good for startups, for companies where they don't have a huge marketing budget. To me, it's that kind of bootstrapping approach to marketing, where you're really trying to give value. And I always think the most important thing about content marketing is about being generous. So you want to give of your expertise and make that really clear to the marketplace, and try and put it in all the places where your audience might be. So that's across your organic social channels, and really encouraging, as you said, that situation where you're trying to make get as many people to share it as possible, whether you're leveraging your own network, your employee network, but you're getting it out there so that more people can see it. And sort of, it's almost like casting a net out onto the internet, isn't it? And trying to draw those people towards you with that sort of the sort of expertise that you're showing them. And then once they come into your website, that's the point at which they hopefully you can show them some more content as they come in that's equally as relevant to the topic that they're looking at or they're interested in. And then gradually they start to trust the brand, and you can start to push them into other areas of the website where they may actually look at your product and that kind of thing. And again, to your point about being consistent, I think that is so important across all those touch points. And to me, content isn't just the blog post. It's how that's expressed on social. It's how the customer success team talk to the customer when they speak to them, how the phone is answered. It's all those touch points. And in a way, it's all content. You know, even the event stand is content. You know, what we choose to put on there, what we choose to showcase, the leaflet, it all needs to be consistent right across that piece, that omnichannel point. But in a way, it's all content, you know, and being really generous with all those points you have to make so that people want to talk to you. You know, that's kind of where you want to get to. And trust is just so key, isn't it? So being generous allows you to generate that trust with the people who are talking to you. I thought it was really interesting, that point you made about the YouTube video that we almost saw, that he was saying it was 6 to 7 podcasts, you know, that people were actually looking at before they actually came to him. And that's the kind of information, like you were saying, that you're never going to see in the dark funnel because you can't see it. But you can ask them that question when they arrive and find out how many touch points it was and how many things they actually looked at before they talked to you. Because I think that's quite a common customer behavior these days, you know, that they actually they're at the edges and they're looking at things you're doing before they choose to talk to you, because they know once they speak to you, potentially there's a floodgate opening there, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's also a trend in buyer behavior that we've seen. I know there was a fantastic Salesforce survey this year actually, that went into kind of how many people, you know, how much research is done before people talk to a salesperson. And there was over 80% of people said that they relied on content and they relied on the internet to find the information about the software, to do their own research, to look into content, to look into kind of reports, survey sites, everything, do all of that research. And I think over 90% of those people said they wanted more content, but more good content, not just you know, new content, but the good stuff that really gives them the information. And then when they come to the sales team, and I know our sales team have often said, you know, they come and they're like, you know, I've done my research, I've spoken to these people, I've spoken to you, I've looked at you, I've read your reviews, and you're the one I choose. And the sales team are regularly finding that, because, you know, when we ask them, oh, what have you done, what have you evaluated, they're like, my decision's made, this is what I'm doing. You know, it's an interesting trend. I know I do it because, you know, I'm probably the worst person for the, you know, what I'm trying to sell into, because I do my research and I make my decision and then, you know, go and pick the brand that I want to do and then do a few demos. But generally I've made my choice on my own.
Yeah, I think it's really common behavior now. I think we're like, it's interesting the point you were making earlier about the sort of data now, where we're all so conscious of our data getting out there. And, you know, once you fill in the form and actually request that demo or to speak to the sales team, that at that point, you know, it's open. So yeah, you want to have made the choice beforehand. And I think content is a really great way to do that. I think it's also a really great way to point out the problem that the product solves as well, in a subtler way than a very obvious advert. And it allows you to come at the problem that the product solves in multiple ways. It's almost like a spectrum that you can cover to sort of pull people towards you and get them to notice that actually they do have this issue and this product may actually solve it. So I think that's a really interesting way that content can help as well.